Hello everybody, we're back with another requested tier list today. The requests are coming in more frequently, which is nice to see. So if you've got a tier list you want to see, feel free to get it suggested in the comments. But today's request, as you can see here, is from Walter, and he asked for a census tier list. So I was like, yep, that sounds like a good idea, and it's different from what I've done before, so I'll definitely get that done. So I'm also going to rank them a bit differently today, as there's only 5 of them. I'm just going to rank them straight up in order from like 1st to 5th, so there'll only be 1 in each position. I thought I'd give that a try as there's not many of them, so a direct order might work a bit better, but let me know what you think about that as well. So I'm going to start off with sense of touch. You certainly don't want to lose it. I guess you can kind of get a feel for what this would be like when sort of you go a bit numb. You get this sort of feeling of it where like you can't feel like you use your hands properly. You can't tell what you're picking up. So yeah, it's obviously not nice. You'd be knocking stuff over all the time probably. Maybe if you have no sense of touch you might feel pain a bit less, so that could be a slight positive I guess, but it's definitely a downside. I'd say, I think for now we'll put it 3rd. Oh, and by the 5th is the least important, and 1st would be the most important, is the order I'm going in. If that wasn't obvious already, which it probably was, but there you go. Then we have sense of smell up next. I feel like losing your sense of smell is the only one that could maybe even be slightly a positive thing. I mean, I feel like you probably still rather have it, but in my day-to-day life, I feel like I notice bad smells more than I notice good smells, sort of. Like, I certainly think like, oh, that smells bad, more than I'm like, oh, that smells really nice. I mean, there's obviously some things, like fresh baked cake and bread and stuff smells nice, but I feel like there's an awful lot of bad smells that you'd get rid of, and you're not losing too much. I think there's no real bad situations where if you're losing out on your smell it's going to harm you. So I think smell's probably the least important in 5th, I'd say. Then we have taste. Kind of similar to smell, but I feel like I enjoy good tastes a lot more than I enjoy a good smell. Like, if you're eating your food you really like, if you didn't have your sense of taste you wouldn't be able to taste it. But then again, you could, if you didn't have a sense of taste, maybe you could just eat extremely boring and healthy foods all the time, as you won't be able to taste anything. But I don't know, I feel like they're missing out on all the nice foods, like you can't taste your favourite snack again, you can't have like whatever your favourite chocolate is, other things, yeah, I feel like you're definitely losing out on that. But there are some upsides, maybe slightly, and it's not the worst thing, you could manage without. So we'll put that in 4th. Then, for the last 2, we obviously have the big 2, your sight and your hearing. I think there's a big gap between whichever one of these is 2nd and then the 3rd place in terms of importance. I think almost everyone would agree these 2 are the most important. And they both have sort of, we've designed things to sort of mitigate how bad it is slightly. Like if you're blind, you've lost your sense of sight, you can read braille, you can get a guide dog if you're lucky enough to get a guide dog. So there's things that help you with that. Like if you're deaf, you can learn to read lips, and there's like subtitles if you're watching, TV, films, whatever. Sign language if you learn that, but also the person you're speaking to would need to know that to be useful. You knowing sign language yourself wouldn't be the most helpful. Also, once you go deaf, like it's hard to know how you're speaking yourself, which is another downside. Like lots of people who are deaf don't have like the best speech as well, because they can't hear what they're saying and they don't know if they're saying things wrong or whatever. I feel like for me personally, it's a tough one, but if someone said tomorrow you have to either be blind or deaf, I obviously don't want either, but I think I would have to pick. I'd pick to be deaf, I think, but I think being blind the worst. So we'll put eyesight as the most important, and then hearing as second, which I think I'm happy with. And then I think there's a big gap down to third, which I think touch is third. That's sort of, almost all downsides. And then fourth and fifth, taste and smell. You could debate there's some positive sides, and you could definitely manage without them, but I think you'd still rather have them both for sure. Okay, that was a bit of a different one, where I ranked them in order. Let me know what you thought about that. If you liked it, leave the video a like. As I said, if you've got a suggestion you want to see, feel free to put that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.